Yeah, it's one of those streams. I'm feeling good. A little better than before, you know. But I'm still feeling lit. It's a chill stream. I want y'all to know that. It's super chill. I'll be real with y'all, bro. I feel like, if I'm being honest, it was like today. I felt like a new level of like obsession over the shit I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a strange feeling I'm feeling right now. Like it's like I've become obsessed with myself. Yeah, really obsessed with myself. Um, I just like where I'm going right now. I like where I'm going right now, and I like that. Like it feels, all of it feels like in a weird way, like it's planned, but I feel like I hold the instruments to create my own destiny right now, and I feel like every time like I try this hard, like recently I've been trying really hard. I've been like really trying hard. Like it's a new level of try hard, bro. I can't lie that I'm in right now, and it's just like it's like a strange version of me, but it's like it's a beautiful version of me because I'm realizing like I just want it. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for any like validation or anything from anybody. I'm just here with y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm here with y'all, like, you know, if you fuck with me, I love you for real. Like I fuck with you. Like I don't just fuck with you, I fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like fake love over here, bro. Like it's real, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not necessarily that I feel like I dislike any of you, you know. I fuck with everybody, bro, like that fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm here for the planet, you know, and right now I don't know what I'm like. Recently I feel like the problem has been trying to find work that I feel like suits me. And as of now I feel like I finally have an answer in some way, you know what I'm saying? I'm not fucking tripping anymore. I genuinely feel like the answer is just me. You know what I'm saying? I've become a bit of a hermit. I like to travel. I like to go out. I like to do stuff, obviously. But I really feel like I miss I miss my house today. Like, got to play a basketball game with my brothers. It was awesome. We had fun and shit. It was great. It was great. Good time. But it's like, man, like I'm an introvert, dude. Like, I don't even like being outside, bro. Like, real shit. Like I like being like close to home, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel. Like, bro, like one of the realest things my mom said was like she tried to keep her house peaceful. And that's one thing I like about my house. Like, you know, it's just chill. Like we at home. You know what I'm saying? That's the home base. Um, and I want to have this. I want to hold the energy in me that just has this all around. Like, you know, when I get my crib, I always want a beautiful woman that I'm either with or I'm friends with to just bring that feminine presence to the home. You know what I'm saying? Make the home feel like a home. You know. You know, I'm not even. I'm at a point now in my maturity where it don't even gotta be like we have to date. We have to do this. You know what I'm saying? But it's more so like you being around is good enough. I feel like the younger I never had the maturity to just, you know, just be cool with somebody. But as I've gotten older, I feel like, what's the point of not being cool with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I fuck with you, I fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna try to, you know, be weird about stuff. But I've just recently just feel like I know what type of vibe I want to have when I finally, you know, reach the not reach, but when I become the boss that I already know I am. When I reach into that other universe and I pull that version of myself out to the world and show y'all that like this is an ultimate level of me, you know, a rich, financially stable boss, you know what I mean? But I don't know why it took so long for this intro. Guys, we obviously here to have some fun, stream, have a good chill night, and stream some chill shit.
Check this out.
Hold on, let me hear the audio, make sure everything's good on here. Yeah, I can hear everything. I ain't tripping. As long as y'all can hear me, I ain't fucking tripping at all, bro. We're gonna react. Let's react to this, and then we're gonna go down to we're gonna go down to a guy we like a lot.
Rest in peace, Rex.
All right, let's move my screen like I'm thinking like right here. Right here should be good, right? Y'all can see me up here, right? Alright.
We barely knew yo ass. Welcome one and all to another roundup of Berserk. We've had a few episodes to round up and talk about in this ongoing continuation experience. Episode 379 is called Those Who Dance Through the Depths of Hell and is 21 pages. As we've come to expect, the artwork and the color pages continue to be the main part of the episode that is really
Bro, I'm a fucking nerd for this Berserk shit. Like, this shit is so fucking cool, bro. I love everything about, like, Kentaro Miura and what he's done for Berserk as a show. Like, bro, oh my god. Like, I'm not even just a nerd for this shit. I'm like a super nerd, bro. Like, I genuinely love Kentaro Miura. I got like a deep love for bro. Like, I really fuck with bro. Like, he passed and stuff now, but you know, that was really grandpa. Like that was the grandpa in like he was one of my grandpas in the spiritual community. Like if I would have ever met him, that would have really been grandpa. Or like yeah, that would have been big bro. Like for real.
Thing to see. Now, it's an interesting few releases to recap, because there's a few things that are brought up in the continuation and then never really explained. And I feel like this group of episodes is the heaviest concentration of that so far. We have it established that Clipoth has crossed over despite the worlds already having been merged, and then this just goes away without any warning. We have Rakshas pop up out of nowhere, but apparently he had died. That goes unexplained when he now dies again. But I suppose one would think this should lead to something eventually. Erica's back.
Y'all gotta remember that character, like dude, he's an apostle. He a weird ass apostle. But he's one of those dudes like he just weird acting, and if you think you got him, he's an apostle. Remember that. Half of them niggas is hard as fuck to kill. Unless your guts from Berserk, then you know you can mark them. But if you ain't guts, they're hard as fuck to kill. And sometimes guts can't even kill half of them niggas. Like think about Zod. He never got Zod the fuck up out of here.
That's nice. Don't get me wrong, I am very happy she didn't die off screen, but it's a shame she didn't do anything or amount to anything. Like, after Ricketts escaped from Falconia, like Iron Man from the cave with all of his inventions, I thought maybe Erica would get involved with stuff, maybe be his muse, maybe help the tools become widespread among the Bakiraka, or, in the case of the continuation, just the Kushans. But beggars can't be choosers, and I am definitely a beggar. The colour page for this one is nice. Azan particularly takes the golden prize this time, looking the closest to the way Miura would have drawn him. Previously, I would have said this panel took the golden prize. But yeah, Isidro was planning on leaving the whole group, it seems. For a moment at least. Probably another throwaway moment we shouldn't take.
Damn, homie fucking body slam his axe into that little nigga. This guy's cool. He can he's one of the he's a goofy funny nigga, but like he's not like Guts. He's never been cursed and stuff, but he's as strong as Guts. Like this is strong nigga. This nigga is not a bitch.
Seriously, but that is a bit bizarre, and not like Isidro at all. It's not like he wouldn't just die instantaneously if he escaped anyway, and he's not dumb enough that he wouldn't realize this. I hate to pile on the inconsistencies, but I do wonder why they established the witches losing their powers only to have them all use their powers again. How's that happened? Also, Puck loves Betsy, but where is Betsy? And why did an apostle appear and Clipoth?
Like a little the little fairy. This nigga is an OG to the Berserk series. Like him too, he been around for a little while, but it's really been this guy. Like this nigga was around when that nigga first came back from the eclipse, nigga. This little bro.
Move all the way over here, but Betsy didn't react. Essentially, they forgot to show it, but when it comes to an opportunity to have a Bahamut go weird and have a brand bleed, I feel like it's fruit ripe for the picking, and important iconography to Berserk that Studio Gaga can't afford to slip if they're attempting the unabridged continuation that they are. And the release closes out with Rakshas reaching Guts. Episode 380, Shadows Die Twice. Color page on this one is sensational, yet again.
Dude,
Rakshas
that is a sick ass picture of Guts.
Guts, and Guts could not give less of a shit. In fact, he's a welcome visitor, an angel of sorts. But just as Rakshas is about to dispose of Guts, Salat comes and puts a stop to it, killing an apostle.
Bro, Rakshashka, this nigga tough. This nigga going toe to toe with lead demons. How is he doing that, bro? This nigga is going toe to toe with literal demons, bro, in real time, bro. This nigga is no joke at all.
For the second time, extremely easily. Is Rakshas dead? Logic would dictate that he is not. His human form of a body should appear right there. And Gaga and Mori have established that the guy thought he was dead already. The more that time's gone by, the more I'm willing to be reasonable with this one. If they wrote him to die, because after all, Miura never established that, then they did that with...
But that's the thing. He's not that he's wrote to die. It's like, maybe he is. Is he? I don't know though. I feel like knowing Kentaro Miura. Maybe he didn't mention that, but this guy doesn't die, bro. I mean, I guess. I think he doesn't die. I don't know. Maybe they just decided to kill him later.
And then they wrote him to come back and then to die again. I imagine they'll have him come back once more. Shadows die thrice, perhaps? And there was also a bit of foreshadowing between Rakshas wanting to have a pop at Griffith that Miura left us with. I think they're playing the long game with that one. But anyway, Salat is angry at...
So he just comes back. He just comes back on some L Gamer shit. Him and little Griffith and shit. Always make him come back.
Guts for not doing anything, which only seems off because they chose to depict Guts without any weapons. If they'd kept him in his armor, or even just with his sash of throwing blades, or even just his prosthetic hand, there would have been reason for Salat, who had been humiliated through defeat by Guts before, to have a pop off at him. But because Guts is as vulnerable as he possibly could have been, it just doesn't stand. Like, what was he supposed to do? Then, this release ends with Shiake still stuck in her coma, traversing the spirit tree to Falconia to find Casca. Episode 381 is called A Crescent Moon Shines on the Exile's Back.
This one ain't better than the last one. The cover, I mean. But it's like, it's chill.
And has 21 pages. It seems the chiefs and the generals were almost all killed by the spawn of Clipot, and those who remain all live in fear of what's to come. Diver throws Guts under the bus as the harbinger of all this with his brand, and gets him exiled from the city to the far end of the world. Shiake remains in her astral form, and we don't get to see any more from her with this one. Essentially, it seems this whole event served the purpose of collapsing the society that had been set up in the East. So now there is no last bastion of humanity left, and the leftover Kushin are gonna have a go of it on their own, whilst Guts is separated from the group. Weirdly enough, something that I've not seen people mention is that this fulfills one of the points Miura brought up a while ago, something that would happen next, that Guts would separate from the group, though it's happened in a part of the story I really didn't expect it to. Also,
This is weird. Everything about this scene is ominous.
I should probably clarify that so far as we can see, Daiba and Isidro are close to Guts as well. So the main group, aside from Daiba and Isidro, are still in the capital. Daiba has presumably thrown Guts under the bus to whisk Guts away so that he can have sole custody, potentially for some nefarious reasons, and that's something that Salat thinks about too, thinking back to the man-made Behelit that Ganishka used. Which is interesting because they've suddenly made Daiba out to be a bit of a dark horse, after he kind of recluded himself from the spotlight of working under Ganishka and seemed to have turned a new page. So it's...
Daiba is like Sadhguru.
to think he's back at it again, or for Salat to even humour such a thing. But I guess we'll see, as this is to be continued right now. Episode 382 is called Burial Chamber and has 20 pages. As I alluded before, it turns out Azan was also with Isidro, though this looks more like a late edition when you factor in that Isidro was clearly alone at the end of the last one. I will say there are a few images of Guts in this one that comprise some of the best artwork that Studio Gaga have produced. This one especially. I don't seem to recall another panel being from this angle, so it's not a trace job. It's properly just channeling the man himself into the drawing. A little round of applause for that one. Guts is led to a strange, tree-enclosed building that Daiba refers to as the end of the world, and he is locked away, to the disappointment of Isidro, the disdain of Salat, and the complete apathy of everyone else. The goal in mind here is to have Guts be out of the picture in the short term, I imagine. Now, like Casca, they can put the complex writing aside for a while, whilst they get the pieces together for the other characters.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Did y'all see that shit? Oh my god. No. This is the same thing that happened to Griffith before he did his due diligence. Y'all pay attention to that shit, bro. Oh my fucking god.
while whilst they get the pieces together for the other characters, so that when they are ready, they can tackle the ending head-on, with everyone on the same page. There is also potential here for Guts to attract a few astral creatures in the dark and be forced to confront them, unless there's something else in the tower waiting for him. I say tower, it's not really even a tower, it's more like a hut. With the dead monks outside, it could also be something like a chamber with another purpose in mind. Maybe it's like that quietest room in the world or something, where you can't spend more than 10 minutes in it without going insane. So maybe Guts confronts the beast within himself at this point, but we'll have to see because that's where this one ends as well. And there doesn't appear to be another release lined up, with this one concluding Volume 43. Coming out this August. But to answer the title of the video, is Berserk still good? Not in the same way that classic Berserk was good, but when compared to your average manga, I'd still say it's not bad. There's a lot of trash out there, man. Someone on skullknight.net once described this as Berserk light, and I've not been able to get that out of my head. It's a fun read, but you do have to detach yourself from the kind of manga that it was for it to be enjoyable, which is a shame. But yeah, in it for the ending more than anything else now. If you're interested in theories on that ending, go and check out one of my latest videos, Secret Lore in Berserk. Maybe the best one I've made, and it recaps my original theory I made years ago, whilst elaborating more with the more recent content in mind. I also gave away the Berserk Diablo crossover codes. Here's a stocking. Vibes, for obvious reasons, with the obvious influence on Miura. But good God, stay away from the Scarlet Gospels, the weakness.
I don't even remember watching this.
And then over here, may I direct your attention to this panel for a moment. It was removed from the finished volume, so if you weren't aware of that, there's some new Berserk for you right there. There are very few things that Kentaro Miura wrote for Berserk, and then excluded when it came time to release the volumes, but it did happen. And it did happen more than once. The idea of evil is the most well-known, and kind of casts a shadow over the fact that there are other smaller instances. And it's understandable, because after all, it's an entire chapter with this prescient, wound-up heart that exists in an even deeper fold of the astral world, beyond even that of the God Hand, aside from their birth. With that conversation left out of the finished manga now, it still exists. The conversation between it and Griffith is simply concealed, or left in question. It is still canon, just excluded, as Miura didn't want the world to be that defined. I thought that meant he didn't want to give away.
Well, this nigga Guts is evil Jesus. Oh, no. Griffith is evil Jesus.
But maybe it goes deeper than that. An element Miura changed from the original design of the prototype was Guts' brand. In the original, it's curved, whereas in the actual run, it is jagged. Why the change? It could speak to simply looking cooler, but perhaps there is more to pass from the original design. The shape of the brand being done in curves all of a sudden looks similar to the insignia of the Hawk of Light. The imagery of the ascending bird is a largely religious one in Berserk, and it goes back a very long way. It's plastered everywhere. Perhaps this very similarity isn't something Miura wanted to change, but rather to conceal, to stop us from picking up the similarity and instead see two different symbols, when really they are both sharing more than meets the eye, and that essentially being humans have deified something ancient and wrong for all of this time. Mosgus is clearly a religious man, and the existence of Albion and its role in the presumed backstory of Void makes one think that if this goes back all that way, then maybe there's a bit of crossover into the beliefs of the many, and the deep-seated belief that something like the idea of evil needs in order.
Those eyes are fucking crazy. Alright, y'all. I'll be back. I gotta get a refill. Alright, I'm back, y'all. I'm sorry that took so long. My dicks. I'm back, y'all. Just had to get a refill.
That even exist. Perhaps the cosmology directly influenced the development of religion in Berserk in a way that's now lost to time. A lot like the Forgotten Kingdom that once lay deep beneath Midland. Other times Miura's gone back and changed things have been for stuff like character corrections and completely redoing a page for a better reading flow. But sometimes he's inserted things like Guts seeing Zod on the beach. That wasn't originally in the magazine release. He also removed a page here of Guts approaching Mosgus. It's not that hard to see why. I did a few shorts a bit ago on mistakes in Berserk, and there's a bunch that I thought there's no point making shorts for. They've served that point. But to just get that research out there, Guts is also missing his nose scar here and here as well. In the Berserk trading card of all things, Miura provided multiple pieces of original art, and one in particular, the one at the back of every card, displays a whole load of strange but cool imagery. If you look close, you can see that there's something going on here. A brain, a skull, the fetus of Casca and Guts' conception, and the idea of evil. At the center is the Behelit, which, ascending from its roof, is Femto. Now, this might be easy enough to understand. It's almost like a recipe list for this Advent 216 years in the making. You have the sacrifice, you have the propagator, you have extra persons perpetuating the negative order of mankind's collective psyche, which in turn seem to bring into being the idea of evil itself. But with the way that the circle is drawn, we have a base level. It's how we can see Femto ascending in this instance. And behind the circle, we have a triangle. And with the circle being given a physical
This shit is fucking crazy.
angle, we can infer that this triangle ascends as well. On the base level, along with everything else, belongs a castle.
Like, if you just look at this shit, like, it's way too fucking much going on right here, dude. This nigga got literally the symbol of fucking... They got the 5-point star right in the middle of this shit.
And adjacent to that is a sword. If we stick to this particular event, we have Griffith's dream to reach that castle, and we have Guts' way of life, his longing to have belonging, and the existentialism that he lives through with the only solace being his sword. But then, ascending from that, even higher than Femto, is the Hand of God, hovering above. The only representation of which we've seen in the past being at the start of the very first numbered episode. A malnourished, almost demonic hand. It paints an interesting picture if we are to take this to be the god of Berserk. In between these three images is the brand, the god hand. Is this the Hand of God? Or is the Hand of God actually something more? I think this is why Miura wanted to conceal the idea of evil and certain motifs. Because I think there is a higher power in Berserk that Miura didn't want to limit the scope of the story. And revealing the idea of evil would make us start to question the being more higher beings. One of the inspirations for the God Hand were the Cenobites from Hellraiser. In fact, the whole film sort of is, with Lemar Chan's box summoning these guys like the Behelit as well. Recently, I watched all of the films, even the crap ones. Read the books too, even the crap one.
Man. I watched this movie. It was,
I even read...
It was odd. It was really odd, bro. It was cool, though. It was like some mastermind shit, but it was weird.
1,000-page manuscript that was never meant to see the light of day. The crap one. In Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, spoilers by the way, but really, don't worry about it too much. But by the end, the original Cenobites are all killed off by a new Cenobite member. The weakness presented to them by the main protagonist is a remembrance of their former human lives before they traveled to Pyratha and forgot the difference between pleasure and pain. In this remembrance, they go against their fundamental allegiance to Leviathan, their deity, that can create Cenobites and maintain control of Hell. Now, with Hellraiser as a point of reference for Miura, what could this tell us about...
Bro, what? There's an entity that could control and maintain hell? That's fucking like... That's fire.
Hand. Well, it kind of makes the idea of evil even more terrifying in a way, and not because of how grand it is, but because of how small it is. In this scenario, the true Leviathan would be a higher being, the hand of the god itself. something so beyond conception that it presents itself through violence and intense suffering wherever it can manifest. The cyclical nature would ensure of such a thing, and it seems that there is leeway for further depravity even among the ranks. Void is there for one cycle, and now he's seemingly head of a complete another, despite Femto being in the spotlight to complete the place of this fifth member. Or is it more communal? This is
Yeah, Void is like a nigga that just has control over everything. Like, he ain't going nowhere.
and this is the heart of the self-same body, a complete and corrupt evil god to cause suffering for all. The one optimistic grain to take from any kind of reading like this is that instead of Guts being this minuscule and powerless ant amidst gods, he is himself much closer to the likes of Griffith or any of the individual members of the God Hand than he is to something like the Idea. Whilst it's not an incredible power-up or something, it speaks to how a happy ending is possible. I kind of theorized how it could happen in the past, but basically, like I said before, we could get this without really addressing the downfall of the cosmology, or without really being able to stop these atrocities happening every 216 years. But simply in the terms of this character-driven tragedy, it's possible. To give a rundown, the weakness is that Griffith shares a body with the boy. If they were to attack Falconia just before a full moon, there's your opportunity. There's weakness 1. The other weakness is that it took this extremely unique situation of Ganishka to bridge the astral world to the real one with the world tree. The biggest bridge, a dragon's road to deep within the astral world, to the point that the God Hand could cross, though only Griffith has a physical body because of the conviction arc. One of the reasons Flora's mansion was targeted and Elfhelm too was because these areas of loose pockets to much deeper in the astral world were nullifying that bridge through their magic for the sake of balance. By burning them up, the bridge between worlds is made all the stronger, and so basically this. Griffith's shared body swaps control with a full moon. They need a timed assault on Falconia for just before the full moon so that it's just the kid. Then we need all of the gurus that we have to nullify as much of the spirit tree off as we can get right at the heart of the Dragon Road, at the base of the tree. And what else? Well, we need a distraction, so we need a war within the city. The whole world deifies Griffith like they did for Geyseric. His entire kingdom died as a result of a ceremony brought about by the idea of evil, which thereby existed from the deep-seated heart of man. That was presumably because of Void. My theory goes into it a little more, but essentially by sullying the image of Griffith by
This nigga was a fucking freak, y'all. I'm talking literal fucking freak. Like, this nigga tried to take his daughter's shit. Like, this nigga is a fucking bona fide bitch nigga.
exposing him and turning that love into hate, which is what I think Void basically did. The deep-seated heart of man could be made to influence and weaken the hold that Griffith has, and buff the sages with the nullification of the astral influence on the world. Basically, we're aiming for the anti-Fantasia, the anti-world tree, the great separation in which we can time it so that the little kid is about to be sent back, and then just as the full moon fades, it's Griffith who gets pulled back into the Hell Void, and the true owner of the physical body that Griffith jumped is now devoid of that influence, and the Moon Boy gets to live his life and stay in the physical world. Originally, that was just supposed to be me abridging that theory. I feel like I did just go over it again, but there we go. The ending of the first Hellraiser movie, the only one that counts, has that Faustian aspect to it, that the Lemar Chan's box, for all of its power and for as omnipotent as the Cenobites seem in that universe, there's a real monkey paw to their trade-offs too. And that is that weaponized evil doesn't exist solely at the whims of endless evil, but because that power can only exist in the face of opposition. An opposition that...
And that's what I'm saying, bro. That's why you gotta fight evil every time, y'all. They got the opposition. You know what the opposition is? Me. I'm there to fuck you about it if you about it. Whoa, hold on. Whoa. What? I'm here to fight you about it if you want to be evil in GTA 5.
has the power to deny it. People don't need to sacrifice stuff. By exposing the nature of Griffith and turning people's hearts against him, the second weakness is revealed. Like Kirsty closing Lamar Chan's box at the end of Hellraiser, It's such a simple thing, but it makes sense. Like Wild dying and turning into a feeble old man and the repulsive image that that was. It's the very fact that these guys are a perversion of nature itself that becomes unto themselves a weakness. It's unfortunately something that we'll probably never know about, because at the end of the day, Miura withdrew that missing chapter to make the answers purposefully obscure, and the story seems like it will be more of a focus on Guts' life instead of a solution for any of the cosmic problems. Though it doesn't seem to really focus even on Guts, unfortunately. The continuation, I mean. And it's something that's making me lose hope in the other and more complex things around that too. Every episode I'm praying to see Guts' thoughts. I've thought this for a long time and kind of want to get it off my chest, but a long-time animator and director who was worked to the bone in Studio Ghibli of all things was Yoshifumi Kondo. He was apparently worked to the bone by Isao Takahata, and you can genuinely look up interviews about this, but the stress of never-ending work resulted in Kondo dying of aortic dissection at the age of 47. Miura didn't talk much about his work, but said he would drink coffee until he felt sick, and then he would drink water, and would work 16 hours every single day without holidays. My mind kind of struggles not to think that this guy literally killed himself to make this art. Usually I follow a point up with something. I'm sorry if it's a bit haunting to hear that, but yeah, I keep on thinking that he just kind of kept on working until he couldn't, which is crazy. Moving on, I guess. Koji Mori almost definitely doesn't know all of the small details like this, especially as Miura went down the route of obfuscating this anyway. I really do wonder, and suppose we'll eventually find out just how much Mori does know. I just don't see this deeper lore, this hidden lore, being something that's uncovered and played with, where Miura had the comfort of living in his own universe and had the luxury of reaching out there into the theoretical.
What the fuck is that sound effect? Oh, I think that's the thing behind me. That shit got loud, but it's also something else loud outside. I think it's the train mixed with the sound effect behind me.
Mori and Gaga have no comforts or luxuries to take in any regard, and it's clear that they are trying their best to straight and narrow to the ending that they do know, with the sole goal of trying to be as close to Miura as they can. And for a man that took away that greater power, it stands to reason that this is an element of the series that will be left to the fans to discuss if they want closure on it. That being said, prove me wrong, Mori, prove me wrong. The card game is an interesting piece of Berserk history, because whilst there's hidden lore to be uncovered, there's also a kind of lost artwork going on in these cards. There's three types: coloring of the manga by Konami, this is the most common type of artwork, then there's original artwork by Konami themselves, but the third type of card contained original artwork from the man himself. This is the most important, because many pieces of his art just never wound up again in art books or volumes. A lot of art just kind of exists on the card, and then as this game has died out, so too has the access to the art. Some people had uploaded archives in the past, but they were of a much lower quality, having been scanned so long ago. And in a few cases now, the sites have been so old that even these low-res images are impossible to find. As a channel that uses images from the manga a lot, I thought it a shame to let so many of these images kind of fall into the ether, and thought I'd start collecting them along the way. Also, to talk about that strange image on the back. But for example, there is apparently one card in the Berserk trading card game that acted as Exodia and could end the game instantly. It was the Behelit card, and as the rumor goes, only one card of this was ever printed. It's only well known because the Japanese player who pulled this card happened to win a competition and a money prize in Japan all that time ago. But now that that's all behind us, there's someone out there with a...
Bro, Yu Yu Hakusho is such a great show.
To artwork, the only Behelit card in existence that might contain original artwork from Miura, and we've literally never seen it, and we'll probably never see it. As older as these cards continue to get, the harder they are to find. In an interesting spin on the importance of archiving, it's crazy how, with Miura dead, the artwork that he did create is really important to preserve, especially in terms of underproduced mediums like this. There's never going to be any more of this, so it's important to share what there is. I'll continue to collect these and share the images they convey in the videos to come, just like I'll continue to share theories and thoughts of what Miura may or may not have been cooking up all that time ago. The material that we got was just so spiritually charged and perfectly written that all of the diehard fans feel that connection to Miura just by reading it. It's like that image of the guy on the piano who just plays straight fire. One thing I do wish is that Miura had just let his assistants do some more of the art from as early as possible. Sometimes I often think things like that, like the purpose of Duranki was to get the team to coalesce their styles together for the sake of applying it to Berserk. But if they just carried on working on Berserk with this principle in mind, we'd literally have had 6 more episodes of Berserk helmed by Miura. 6 more opportunities for him to flex his other muscle, which was this incredible ability of lore building. Obviously, it's not worth torturing ourselves with what could have been, but when I look at the big picture of it all, I often can't help but think that way. Especially when he said the God Hand were about to play a bigger role in the story, Skull Knight's past was about to be revealed, and Guts was going to separate from the group, and none of that has happened, or even appears as if it's gonna happen.
And it did happen. It did happen.
Chapters go by, I get the feeling that the team might know the ending, but not know any of the lore that Miura was keeping for us. Tragic, man. But it really does bring a mythical status to the incredible pages we got. And it also brings him closer to the fate of one of his favorite artists, Kaoru Kurimoto, who wrote Wind Saga, and also died prematurely before finishing their sprawling fantasy series too. Now both of these series are being finished by others, and we're left to wonder what could have been, whilst we appreciate that which we got. But at least it didn't go the other direction, like those Hellraiser movies, or even the books. Clive Barker wrote The Hellbound Heart. Highly recommend reading that, by the way. Without keeping the movies in mind, there are some incredibly vivid details of Cenobites that paint their image far worse than the movies can get away with, and it truly gives God Hand vibes, for obvious reasons, with the obvious influence on Miura. But good God, stay away from the Scarlet Gospels, the sequel. It is the definition of jumping the shark. Weirdly enough, the first 50 pages have that vivid and disturbing literary power, but then it all just falls apart. Looking further into it, it appears Clive Barker experienced septic shock during a routine dental procedure, and it would appear that he has not been the same since, and not really published anything since either. That's a sad one, but it puts into perspective, the preciousness of life, and the fact that these artists are people, and everything really is out of our control. So all we can do is sit back and appreciate everything that we can appreciate. The secret lore of Berserk is...
That's dark, bro. That's dark. So you be massively talented, and I don't know if it was on them or if it was just on Miura. I don't know. I don't know. Sucks that he worked himself to death, though.
Because it was behind the entire framework of the series, and it was never directly addressed, even when Miura obviously considered letting us see that far. Of course, maybe I'm taking things too literally, and the God Hand is just the hand of God. But in that case, does that mean these guys are members of a different hand? If that's the case, then what is Void doing in both? Maybe his role is less being a member of the hand, but of the brain, considering his eyes are stitched shut, his mouth is splayed in such a way that it would be impossible to speak, and his ears are severed, whilst his brain is abnormally large. He's a God Hand member who has been stripped of all of what would make someone themselves, possibly to be a vassal of the will of this evil god. But that's enough.
That's fire if you think about it. That shit is... Oh my god, I didn't even think about it like that.
For one day. Otherwise, I'll be going down the rabbit hole forever. If you've made it this far, I want to say thank you. And as a thank you, here is a little something. This code here is for the Berserk and Diablo crossover, so that one of you guys or gals can enjoy the cosmetics they have.
Alright, y'all. I'm gonna call it one, bro. You gonna call it one. W stream.